Do you remember back in the day when as soon as you got ready to launch something, first thing you'll do is try to get a flyer made, and you'll say, I can't start marketing or promoting it yet because I don't have a flyer. Well, in today's episode, I'm going to break down how that's a bad decision. 3 things you should do to get ready to launch a product, a course, program, or any of those things. What are the steps you should take to actually launch what you're putting out, okay? Quit the flyer, quit the website. If you're saying you got to wait until you get a flyer to promote, you're definitely not promoting, you're definitely not launching. In the curiosity phase, I make you take an action. You can't just like and comment. You got to sign up for something. I want to see if you're curious enough to stop what you're doing and give me what we call a micro commitment. If you're watching this video, you're about to make a whole lot of money. Welcome back to another episode of Monetize with Marcus podcast. I'm your host, Marcus Rozier. You're stuck with me. But today's episode, I'm excited about. I almost want to put my hood on because it's about to get rough. Now, let me give you that big boy talk. There's a huge difference between marketing, promotion, right? So when people, like I know, I used to do the same thing. Back in the day, I used to think that all I needed was a flyer. And like, hey, what you got coming up? Oh, I'm about to launch my program. I wasn't really about to launch it. I was just about to post a flyer on social media. That's not the same thing. Now, be honest with me. Have you made that same mistake where you start thinking that you're just going to keep posting that flyer over and over again? I know people who with albums that they're artists and all they think about is getting the graphic work done. I know people who are coaches and all they think about is getting the flyer. But here's the big thing. Most people spend all of their money on everything except marketing. They don't think through the launch strategy. So I want to walk you through very quickly. This is going to be a short episode. What's a few steps? Now, I teach inside of Sales Funnel Made Simple. I teach a 6-step launch strategy of exactly what to do leading up to you launching a product, a program, a course, an ebook, or any of that. I'm going to give you 3 of them, not because I don't want to give you all 6. I just don't have the time, okay? All right? Take these 3 and be happy, be merry. But you can go check out Sales Funnel Made Simple. So here's the deal. There are different phases and different actions you take in each phase. So I want to walk you through it. Instead of just grabbing a flyer, instead of just getting a website made and just almost social media spamming people to death, right? Just keep posting the same thing. Here's the thought process of what you do first. In the first phase of your launch, you should definitely write this down. I call it a courtesy phase. It's a courtesy phase of launching any product, program, service. I mean, it doesn't matter. What are you doing? What's the courtesy phase? This is where you are offering the same value you eventually plan on charging for. See, where people get a chance to experience you, you get a chance to serve them, they get a chance to try you out, and you also get to gather data. Now, you know on the back end in your courtesy phase that you plan on selling, but they don't. This is how you start building out people. You start figuring out the interest. So let's say right now, if I knew I wanted to teach a group of people how to build funnels, in the courtesy phase, I start putting out content on how to build funnels. All of the people that I'm serving in my courtesy phase, I then create strategy to move them forward. See, this is a launch. It's incremental steps that lead to that end result. So in my courtesy phase, let's just say if I decided in the courtesy phase to give away content, to run ads, things of that nature. Let's just say, and I'm not selling anything. I'm just giving away information. I'm going live. I'm doing a podcast. That's a courtesy phase. It doesn't cost you anything, but it provides value to a specific group of people. Courtesy phase could also be if you're a chef, where you start doing pop-up things in a truck and giving away the food. So now people are like, what is this? What's the name of the restaurant? And your courtesy phase, it has strategy. It's a part of your marketing. You're getting the name out there. You're getting people familiar with you. You're getting people interested. So Marcus, how do I move from the courtesy phase to the next phase? They're connected because it's all a part of the strategy, right? So I go from courtesy to curiosity. So because I speak about selling courses, digital products, and programs, I'm going to make this conversation all about that. Okay. So I would take my courtesy phase, putting out value-based content free of charge. And now I want to see who all is taking advantage of my courtesy and want to move to the next phase of curiosity. This is where I might decide and say, hey, I decided for the next 6 weeks, every week, I'm going to do a free live or a free webinar. Now this is where you create a landing page. This is where you create a wait list. You're trying to see who's willing to not just take advantage of your courtesy, but who's curious enough to actually sign up for it.
We've got to pause right there because I'm in the giving mood. I decided to offer you a free gift, absolutely free. Now, I tell you all the time about turning your ideas into online income, but how am I going to tell you to do something and not provide the resource for it? There's so many questions that people have online about what should I post? How do I get my engagement up? How do I get people to click the link in my bio, buy from me? What should I sell? Whether it's an ebook, an online course, how much should I charge? How do I launch? How do I do a webinar? You see what I'm saying? So I decided to create a free training and give it to you that you can utilize to learn how to literally take the services that you do or the ideas you have and build a successful online company. Go to www.monetizewithmarcus.com. My gift to you. You're welcome.
So you say, hey, if you want to stay in the loop and of me I'm doing pop-up trainings, doing sales funnel reviews, looking at your data and showing you how you can improve your sales funnel. I would have been putting out value content in my courtesy phase, but I want to segment people to see who's ready to move to the next phase. Now, I'm going to set hard numbers and say, I want to see if I can get 300 people in my curiosity phase. So I'm going to continue putting out content in the courtesy phase, and I'm looking at the data, and I say I'm going to keep doing it and segmenting people until we reach 300. You see how this is a launch strategy with real data. Posting a flyer don't give you this because it's not strategy, right? I'm a strategy guy. So I'm like, okay, I move from courtesy to curiosity. And I say, okay, I'm going live every week. And if I'm going, or I'm trying to build up my wait list. All those people now have moved from the pool of people in courtesy to curiosity. What's the next phase? Next phase, I tell people, is community. So this might be a private group. This might be where I say, hey, join my private Facebook group, my text message list. Now I'm going to send out a text message to you. Every Friday, I'm only taking 100 people, or I'm only taking 10 people, and I'm going to give you a free funnel that I built inside of my system. Now, the people that were in my curiosity phase, I just made them to go even deeper into now community, where now they're talking to me. I'm asking questions. Or let's say I'm doing Monetize with Marcus Mondays, where it's a free business review. And I say, hey, first come, first serve. Everybody got to submit your question. I'm forming a community out of it. Every day they're hearing from me. I'm building relationship with them. Notice how I took them from the pool of courtesy to this curiosity. In the curiosity phase, I make you take an action. You can't just like and comment. You got to sign up for something. I want to see if you're curious enough to stop what you're doing and give me what we call a micro commitment. A micro commitment is where you just make a small commitment. It's not money yet, but it's enough to say, hey, once a month on a Thursday night, I'm doing a mastermind. Are you willing to set it on your calendar to actually show up? That means you moved from courtesy to curiosity.
You should quit working for free. How did social media hire all of us to be their workforce? We're on the app posting videos, going live, creating reels. We do not get paid when we create content on social media. They do, by selling our content to advertisers. But how do you actually build an online business using social media? I want to break it down for you and give you access to it. There's 5 simple steps. I'll tell it to you in a few seconds. Step number 1 is client attraction. I'm going to show you how to actually attract clients that will happily pay you what you're offering. Step number 2, how to capture them. How do you get their emails? How do you get their phone numbers? How do you get them to show up to your event? Be on your Zoom calls. To what I refer to as client dating. It's where you nurture a relationship with people to get them to say yes to whatever you're offering. And I'm even going to show you what type of content to create that gives you brand visibility and brand recognition. I call it content to cash flow. You get access wherever you're watching this video. You'll see it in the description and you'll see it beneath this. Let's get back to the episode.
Courtesy is I'm doing it for free. Curiosity, you're willing to stop what you're doing and arrange your life around it. Community is where at the curiosity event, let's say once a month mastermind, I then say, hey, for those who love what we're doing once a month, what we're also going to do is we're going to have a private group where you can sign up for blah, blah, blah. Now I just strategically move them. I set hard dates, data, and deadlines, and I can move them along the lines to then launching. Now there's other steps to it. Like I move out of community and I'll normally in step 4 do a call to action. That's where I clearly ask you for your money, right? But you see how that's very different from just throwing something out there. You're progressively moving people with real hard data. And that, my friends, is a few steps of how you launch a course, a program, an ebook. I hope you've enjoyed today's short form episode of how to launch. I want to hear feedback from you. Holla at me, Marcus. Why Rose? You're on all social media. If you want to learn more things like this, you can go to monetizewithmarcus.com. It's a whole list of information. We'll go to monetizewithmarcus.com/podcast. And you're going to see a list of what I'm doing now is uploading on that page, like things that we learn, things that I do on a podcast. I'm gonna give you some video training, some free things that you can find there. So go to monetizewithmarcus.com/podcast, and it'll break down in more detail about this launch strategy and ways that we could even work together. All right. I'll see you in the next episode of Monetize with Marcus.